My grandmother, advanced Alzheimer's, hadn't spoken a couple of years, and I was her caretaker at the time. And I played a drum for her, a very quiet drum. She was in a car, and she was isolated, and it was very quiet. And I started playing this drum for her, and she looked, focused at me, and then all of a sudden she spoke my name. And when she spoke my name, I thought, wow, I've never seen anything quite like this. This is music as medicine. I mean, I've seen hundreds of thousands of people going in trance and in ecstasis and all kinds of states, you name it. I've seen it. But I never saw anything like this. So that was the moment, that was the key moment that I realized that brainwave function, obviously something happened, something rhythmic, something vibrational happened that somehow reconnected her and gave her this cognition and this ability to be able to speak. That was, to me, that wasn't a miracle. Besides it being a miracle, it was something really happened. It really went down there. And she was totally cognitive. She was right there in the moment. And then when the drumming stopped, she drifted back. But that's what started it all.
Rhythm itself, and this is what brought Mickey and I together. You know, music is complicated, has so many different elements to it, and the act of rhythm being part of it is really, I think, very exciting, especially because our brains are rhythmic, and so there's this really exciting connection between what happens out there and what happens in here, and how we might be able to tie them together and look into them as a rhythm. And you could see that, and there's already literature coming out, for example, in stroke rehabilitation and motor learning, and you saw many beautiful examples of it. There's other ways of affecting rhythms in the brain, though, that it's worth thinking about. For example, we could stimulate the brain rhythmically with electrodes. This amazing invention of deep brain stimulation, where you could put electrodes inside the brains of those with Parkinson's disease, stimulate their brain, and essentially stop their tremor. Has anyone ever seen this? It's amazing. As close to what I've ever felt of seeing a miracle in science is really this. I mean, tremors going, turn it on, and basically create a rhythm in the brain that can normalize it, and the rhythm just stops this tremor, and then they could pick up a cup of coffee and not spill it all over the place. So it's really quite amazing to see. Now we're going to show you some really cutting-edge work that we've been doing for years as a very large collaboration. You're going to see two things going on simultaneously. Either of them would already be off the charts as something that few people have ever seen, but you're going to see them happen at the same time. So the first is something that we call neurodrummer, and the second is something we call the glass brain. You're going to see them both happen here on stage and on this screen over here, with neurodrummer on this side on your left and glass brain over there on the right. Let me tell you quickly what they are, so to put this in, give you some context. So what neurodrummer is the beginning phases of a rhythm training game that we're going to work on to accomplish those goals that I just explained to you. And there's many different interesting features of it. And so the first is that this game takes place in virtual reality. So Mickey is going to be, in addition to wearing this 64-channel EEG cap over here to record his brain activity, is going to be putting on something called the Oculus Rift, which is a virtual reality goggles, actually close to here. In Irvine it was developed. Very exciting new technology. It's not available yet. If anyone follows the tech news, Facebook recently acquired this company, and so there's a lot of momentum into pushing this technology into the world, and we're all excited to see what happens with that. But what you're going to see now is Mickey enter this virtual world. You're only going to see a 2D world, but you have to imagine what it's like from Mickey's perspective to be in this beautiful universe that our team here has created. And he's going to be drumming, and he's going to be creating rhythms, and also the sounds that you're going to hear are going to be very unique. And what this is that Mickey was inspired by EEG, brain recordings that we have collected over the years together, and created a unique music piece known as Electrodes that's really going to be powering this whole rhythm experience that's going to extend right beyond this demo. So while he's playing, you're going to see these asteroids come onto the field, and Mickey's job is to wave his hand above this pad over here that he's playing on, and that will destroy it. And our research in our lab showed that as hard as it is to do one thing at a time, it's even harder to do two. And that in our video game study that we did in the past, we showed that by pushing the brain to do two things at the time can make it stronger. So Mickey has to maintain a rhythm and then destroy an asteroid and get back into rhythm. That's sort of the training part. He's practiced in this. and another thing that you're going to see is the inclusion of high levels of art. There's going to be a lot of little Grateful Dead inspired pieces in there that you'll be able to see. And then there's the music. And the idea is that medicine and art and music can all go together. And so we put as much attention into that aspect of it as we do into the scientific foundation of what we're building. And then you'll even see he'll be wearing a clip on his ear to capture his heart rate and bring his physiology into this. So you'll see his heartbeat in there too. So this is just the very beginning, but it's to give you a taste of what we could do with modern technology to build a training experience that's incredibly unique. And then, of course, we bring this into the lab and figure out, does it work? That's basically what our job is. And if it does, then we advance it and hopefully it moves out into the world and becomes new medicine. The next thing is the glass brain. So what the glass brain is, Mickey is wearing this cap over here. It's going to record his brain activity. And due to a really beautiful collaboration, I'll tell you about the whole team in a moment, we first had Mickey come down into our lab, and we did an MRI scan of his brain. So what you're going to be seeing on this side of the screen is Mickey's world, where he's playing. On your left, on the right, is going to be his brain, the structure of his brain, an MRI scan with the fibers coursing through them. And then you're going to see all these lights and colors, and I'm going to have Tim explain to you a little bit more detail about what that is. But essentially, what you're seeing is the EEG signals overlaid on top of it. And then through very sophisticated algorithms that were developed right here at UCSD at the Swartz Center by a large team of people for many years, we have real-time EEG recording corrected for the artifacts and localized to the place in the brain where it comes from. And I'm going to let Tim, since he's behind a lot of that work, give you a little bit of his own insights into that. So that's what you're going to see. Neurodrum on that side, glass brain on the other side, going on at the same time. In addition, as if that wasn't enough, Tim, our scientist, is going to come up and talk here, will be wearing an Oculus Rift also. So while Mickey is inside his virtual reality world playing drums, Tim will be inside Mickey's brain in real time, flying through it, using a joystick to navigate. And you'll see what Tim is seeing over there. It's really pretty chilling. So.
And what you're going to see is a representation, as Madam said, a high-res representation. You're seeing a piece of it here. On the right-hand side, you see a brain. This is actually Mickey's brain. And what's going to happen is you're going to see a representation of the activity inside his brain. And there'll be colors involved there, reds, blues, and greens, which represent different frequency rhythms of oscillations in Mickey's brain. Some of the things that Adam talked about earlier, these neural oscillations. You're also going to see sparks of light flowing along fiber tracks. Those fiber tracks are representing the actual fiber tracks that connect areas of Mickey's brain, and those are obtained using a method called diffusion tensor imaging. But those pulses will be colored as well, and they'll be color-coded by these frequencies. So when you're seeing these, think that these are rhythmic oscillations of electrical activity. This is communication happening in Mickey's brain, and hopefully it'll be very engaging and appealing. And just think about what's happening inside Mickey's head there and all of your heads, and what the neuroscience is that actually gives rise, or actually what neuroscience has done in terms of allowing us to understand the fundamental bases and by which these processes work in the brain. So I think we'll have the facilitators come on.
dance. And you want to get up and dance? This is your moment. Get up and dance and shake it a little bit.